What if you could be coached by two of the top coaches in America on two specific things necessary for your success: confidence and comebacks? I hope you're off to a good start this week. I hope your confidence is getting higher. Okay, I've been on the phone with Tim today, folks that, man, desperately need a comeback. And one particular gentleman today I was talking to, and you know, he talked about his finances. He's 48 years old. And I said, you got to live out of your sacrifice. And whatever you got to do to find the $299 to be in the room with me and Tim Storey, August 20th or 26th, you got to be in the room, man. I'm telling you, this day will change your life.
Yeah,
And
I agree. Yeah, and we talked about that last time. Sometimes you do things out of your surplus, and sometimes you do things out of your sacrifice.
Right.
And as a coach, you know it's that sacrifice that makes you a champion. And coaching your teams, it's those extra drills, extra running, extra free throws. You got to come out of your sacrifice. So it's going to be an amazing, amazing event. Event is putting it lightly. It's going to be a life-changing time.
Yeah, there's, just so you guys know, because some of you may want to come to this that are on this. I really equate it to watching two guys. I have a lot of people say I watch you on YouTube and I watch you on Facebook. And I said, well, there's a significant difference between watching me on YouTube and being in a room with me for a day. And
so true.
What we're talking about is the next logical step for everybody who's in this 4-week program with us, which is to spend a day with me, Tim Storey, Sharon Lecter. We've got a whole host of other guests and special friends who are going to be there. And I'm telling you, it'll be a day of comebacks, confidence. We're calling it the comeback campaign. And it will be the best. I just told the guy today, I said, it's 3 of the top coaches on the planet. And I don't know where you're going to get 3 of the top coaches on the planet. It's like when I'm a big country music fan. I love going to these things where I get to see 6 of the best back to back to back to back. Right now, that's a show. So that's what we're doing. August 20th. It's in Nashville at my lodge. I've got a beautiful 8,000 square foot lodge. August 26th in Dallas, Texas. We're working on the location for that. Dee Kendrick said she signed up. Thank you, Dee. Looking forward to seeing you in Dallas. But I'm telling you.
And can I say something about you hosting it at your lodge?
Yeah, please do.
So you have paid a price and you are paying a price, and you are allowing us to come to something that you paid a price for and are paying a price, which is your lodge. It's your lodge. We're not going to a hotel, an event center. We're coming to your lodge.
Yep.
So thank you for paying a price to host a bunch of world shakers to come in together. And one thing I want to add to what Coach Burt is saying, also, you're going to have some amazing connections.
Yes.
When you connect with people one-on-one, you just never know what can happen. Maybe you have a book idea. Maybe you have a movie idea. Maybe you have some great entrepreneurial ideas. It's a great time of connections and bringing together people. So it's going to be great.
Yeah, I talk a lot about structures of exchange, and a structure exchanges of energy, ideas, networks, possibility, right? Tim is connecting me to people on the West Coast I've never been connected to. I'm connecting to people on the East Coast. He's been, right? And through this connection, we prosper together. And, I've connected him to a media director. I've got a good media director in Gabby Garrett, who's just a fireball. And she's got great ideas. And
really good. We had a great talk with her. And so thank you for that. And you're exactly right. It's these, let's call them divine exchange and divine connections that can take you to amazing places.
So I want to encourage you. We're going to be talking about how to protect your confidence today. And people ask me all the time, how do you protect your confidence? Well, I want you to think of protection of confidence as diversification of your confidence. Okay. If you have a financial portfolio and you begin to generate assets, many advisors will tell you, you need to diversify that portfolio. And you don't need to put all of your eggs in one basket. Well, I was working with the top CEO of a $40 million company, and he's now state senator, incredibly a former pharmacist, incredibly smart. And I said to him one day, man, you're incredibly confident. How do you protect your confidence? And he said, I feed it in 12 different ways. He said, I diversify my confidence. Now, this is very important because if you put all of your confidence in one thing and that one thing is not working, then all of your confidence is lost. Okay? I have put my confidence in my work. I have put my confidence in other people. I have put my confidence in various things. And what if that day it wasn't going well? Then this is why people walk around and they have no confidence. It's like, well, my work, how's work going? Well, work's not going very well. And all my confidence is in my work. Well, how's your marriage going? Well, marriage is not going very well. So all my confidence is shot. Okay. So what I teach and what we're going to talk about today is if you build confidence, right? And I'm going to show you how to build it and protect it, because I want you to think I protect my confidence in many, many ways, because at any given time, let's say I'm protecting it in 8 ways, 2 or 3 of those things are not going well. But I got 6 things going well. And if 6 things are going well, it makes up for the 2 that are not going well. All right. So I've been teaching you guys a concept called the whole person theory. And when it comes to confidence, I said in our last session, the way we build confidence is we feed the body, the mind, the heart, and the spirit. And if you remember, I told you that by 8 a.m. every day, I have fed all 4 parts of my nature. I've listened to a sermon. That's spiritual. I've read the Bible. That's spiritual. I've worked out physically. That's the body. I've listened to something on business. That's mental. And I've spent time with my family. I have a new son and daughter, and that's emotional. So by 8 a.m. every day, I have fed all 4 parts of my nature. So I'm feeling good about my body because I got a great workout in. I'm feeling good about my spirit because I spent time with the Lord. I'm feeling good about my family because I spent a little time with people that matter to me. I'm feeling good about my work because I'm listening to something on the way into work. So by 8 a.m., guys, I have fed my confidence. And I roll in, Tim, on 2 wheels to the greatness factory. And I'm so ready to go, I can't even see straight. And I joke with people and I say, we don't call it the complaining factory or the complacency factory or the average factory. It is Hitsville here at the greatness factory, right? And we're producing hits. So for you, if you wake up, let's just play this out the opposite. Okay. From 20 to 30, I worked hard and played hard. I would work 80 hours a week. I would lay out in the bars, drinking too much, hungover. And that is not a high performance person. So I wasn't taking care of my body like I should. I wasn't taking care of my relationships. I had little or no relationship with a spiritual relationship because I had drifted in my faith, right? I had drifted. None of my friends were faith-based, so we weren't doing what we needed to do. We weren't holding each other accountable. I was out of whack, guys, in almost every dimension of my nature. And at some point, I made a decision. The word decide means to kill off. Remember that? The word decisions, cut away. I've made a decision to go pro. And I said, dadgummit, I'm going pro in the body. I'm going pro in the mind. I'm going pro in the heart. And I'm going pro in the spirit. I am a professional. And when I made that decision, my confidence began to elevate. Okay. Now, when you think about this long obedience in the same direction, this is real important, because when you see big time people perform, they make it look easy. It's like, oh, that's easy. Oh, I could do that, right? Oh, I could do that. Oh, I could do that. I remember sitting up at a concert up in the top, and it looked easy from where I was sitting. And I said, you know what? The next time I go, I want to get front row tickets. And I went to a concert at the Hard Rock in Las Vegas, and I sat right up front. I stood right in front of the stage, and I watched this entertainer, and he sang for 4 hours. He sweat profusely pouring off of him. He could, and I watched how hard he worked. And see, up there, it looks easy. You get down there where you're right there and you could see, I'm like, man, that dude is working. Like that was work. But when he's done that 1,000 times or 2,000 or 5,000, right? It's still work, but it's flowing and there's a long obedience. Now they say when it comes to mastery, this is very important to confidence. When you have done something for 10,000 hours with coaching and feedback, not only do you master something, so you're incredibly confident, but it literally changes the neurons in your brain to where the brain now is trained to find faster, better, quicker ways of doing things. Okay? Like I have figured out now how to generate $250,000 in an hour. Okay? It took me 18 years of doing this to figure out how to make $250,000 in 1 hour. Okay? But because I used to do it one at a time and one at a time and one at a time. And then I figured out, hey, what if I got 500 people in at a lower price and we generate, like I'm going to speak on Friday and I'm going to offer them my coaching package, 500 people for $500. Well, if we sell all of those people, we're going to generate $250,000 in an hour. Now I got to be good. The offer's got to be right. I got to hit it. I got to be on my A game. Everybody with me? But if it works right, we can generate that kind of money in an hour. Now, it took me 18 years to figure out how to do that. Now, let's say on Friday morning, let's say on Thursday night, I lay out too late and I'm dragging and I don't go to the gym Friday morning and I roll in there and I can't keep my thoughts straight and I'm not confident and I go out there and I underperform and that costs me $100,000. That's an expensive mistake not to have any confidence, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is building confidence happens through these things. I want you to write these down. Number one, daily preparation. I sit down at the end of every night and I spend 7 to 15 minutes mapping out my next day. And you say, why does it only take 7 to 15 minutes? Because once you do it a lot, that's all it takes. Okay? So daily prep. Every night I sit down and I say, what's the highest use of my time tomorrow? What are my 3 big wins? Who am I calling on? What partnerships am I working, right? A daily prep. Now I'm confident. Number 2, my morning routine. If you are not in a morning routine, this is very important to your confidence. You're going to wake up and you're not going to feel confident. Like all the insecurities, and Tim can speak to this because he's a pastor, but the devil attacks you at certain times, right? When you lay down at night, when you travel to and from. So what happens is you go to bed, you ever wake up in the middle of the night and man, you just got this flood of thoughts of things that are going wrong, right? And you're kind of being attacked by the devil. And you wake up in the morning, it's like, oh my gosh. And first you read an email and the email says, the deal just fell apart. Now your confidence is shot before you even get started. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to protect my confidence and go, okay, I'm going to prepare. All right. When I wake up in the morning, I'm going to go through my morning routine. First thing 89% of people do is they look at their phone first thing in the morning. 89% of people look at their phone. They look at their emails, then their mind's all over the place. Then they can't work out because they can't focus. Then they're focused on this. Then they're trying to solve a problem. Then they're distracted. Okay. I'm going to do my morning routine. I'm going to get in an environment I can thrive in. Okay. I'm going to get in an environment I can thrive in. I'm going to have some type of daily training. Now my team trains 6 segments a day in my online academy before they get to work. So they've already watched 30 minutes with Coach Burt. They've already trained with Coach Burt before they even see Coach Burt. They're ready to go. When they come into work, it's like, boom, I've been coached. Okay. When I get to work, I have a time system. You say, well, why is this important? Because I don't want to be pulled apart. I don't want to be distracted. So 8:30, I meet with my troops and I get them ready to go into battle. 9 o'clock, 9 to 11:30, we focus on new money. 11:30, we stop and break for lunch. Nothing heavy. Don't go to the pasta bar and get all loaded down on carbs. I need you quick, man. I need you quick. I need you moving, okay? We come back. Typically, we meet again at 12:30. Why? Never underestimate the need to re-enthuse your people. They got to go back out there. They've been beat down. People told them no. People's hung up on them. People's told them lose their number. So I get them excited again, and we go back into battle again. We do that from 1 to 4:30, and then we break again at 4:30, and we say, what did we win? What did we lose? I typically leave at 5 or 5:30. I go home and spend time, have dinner with my family. I typically go for a walk or ride a bike at night. I listen to something. Then I wind down with an Epsom salt, real warm bath, and I listen to another sermon. And that's my day. That's my full day. Now, what do you think it happens when I have this schedule? I'm not pulled apart. I'm not being pulled in so many different directions. I'm able to handle blows. I'm able to take things that come because I got a regimen. This builds my confidence. Okay? Confidence being memory of success. Confidence is the memory of success. How do you build success? Through consistent, ongoing, systematic repetition. You build success by working the muscle, folks. Okay? It's too many people have what are called confusions. A confusion is a randomness in motion. There is no, right? Like Tim can talk about, I think that's one good study here is the 7 days of creation. I mean, there were specific things that happened each day. There were 7 days of creation. Like there wasn't all this confusion, right? Well, people live confused lives. It's like, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I doing this? Why am I involved in this drama? Why am I involved in this? So I call confusion randomness in motion. Okay. And the only way to stop randomness is to stop the machine. So think of energy as stopped, started, or in motion. That's energy. When you see me retreat to attack, like this Friday, I'm flying down to my house in Florida, spending the weekend with 4 or 5 people, that want to write a book. I'm going to help them write their book. But I really get to stop, right? I'm in Florida. I'm in a relaxed setting. I'm at a house I love. I get to walk and eat breakfast. I'm stopping the machine and I'm recalibrating. And I'm going, I don't like this and I don't like this. I need to stop. The way you eliminate confusion is you stop. You retreat to attack. Okay? So let's talk about ways you build confidence, because if you don't have a schedule like I'm teaching you guys, you're going to be all over the place. And your confidence is going to be all over the place. I sat in with a person today. He's got a struggling business. And he said, I need a cash infusion of $50,000 to even keep the doors open. He said, Coach, will you loan me the money for $50,000? And I said, you know what? I don't know. Let me think about this. Because there could be a lot of creative ways we can find $50,000. Remember me telling the story of T.D. Jakes? He had the play. He wanted to take it to a movie, but he said, I don't have the movie. And Tyler Perry came in and said, I don't have the money. Tyler Perry came in and said, finding the money's easy. We'll find the money. You got the idea. Confident people believe, hey, we'll find the money. Like this dude was scared to death. I'm like, look, just chill out. We'll find $50,000 somewhere. Okay? You got a good concept. I'm going to help you make it work. It's not the end of the world. Let's just step back a second. But he's in the frame, right? Tim, you can't see the picture when you're inside the frame. So he's panicking, and I'm just sitting there looking at him like this, like, man, it's okay. You didn't ask for 50 million. You asked for 50,000. Like, we'll figure this out, okay? Just give me a day to figure it out. So in the old days, I would have thought, man, how are we going to figure this out for this guy? Today, I'm like, oh, we can find somebody who'll give $50,000. Okay, so how do we build this kind of confidence, this unbreakable confidence? What if I told you private victories precede public victories? Private victories precede public victories. The first sale you have to make is to your own self every morning. I tell myself, people ask me, what are your affirmations? I tell myself, I am a person of interest. People are counting on me to show up, grow up, and deliver. Just because I have feelings that don't make them right. Confidence is the memory of success, and I know how to be successful. I'm coaching myself through these things. Okay? Now for you, you may say, well, Coach, I don't feel good about one area of my life. I worked with a top trainer once, a top physical trainer. Trained some of the top people, like celebrities and people like you work with, Tim. And he said to me, every person is out of control in one area of their life. Every person he'd ever met, and part of his role as being their trainer was saying, let's figure out which area you're out of control. You're out of control in your eating. You're out of control in your drinking. You're out of control in your emotions. You're out of control in this. If we can get that part that's out of control under control, we're going to be in good shape, right? But he said every person's out of control in one area. We got to get it under control. So let's talk about protection of confidence. I told you how I build my confidence. Okay. And one of the ways I build my confidence is being around successful people. Okay. Today, I've been on the phone with a $100 million developer. He and I have become good friends. A guy named Tony Giratani in Nashville, which is literally the Donald Trump of Nashville. I've talked to Judge Graham and Matt Monero. These are guys that have built, grown, and scaled and sold companies for 100 to 200 million. I'm doing this with Tim Storey. In a given day, I've talked to some of the most successful people in the world. And guess what? Every time I talk to them, I feel more confident. I'm like, oh, I can do this. That dude can do it. I can do it. Like just being around in their presence makes me more confident. So how do you protect your confidence? I'm going to give you 4 things of protection of confidence. Number 1, it's a big one. Vocation. I can't tell you how many people's confidence is shot because they are literally on the wrong bus doing the wrong thing every day. Okay. I don't believe that your work can necessarily make you happy, but I do believe when you distribute your God-given talents to the world through the distribution channel of your work becomes incredibly rewarding. The world rewards you in the form of love, recognition, admiration, referrals, reputation, and money. The world says, you're good. And because you're so good, here's the reward. Okay? Now, Tim can speak to this, but there are 756 references to money in the Bible. Right? A lot. And when you think about this, one of my favorite sermons was a sermon that Jimmy Evans did on the law of sowing and reaping. And what I see as a business coach and a life coach to a lot of people is their talents are drastically mismatched with their work. So they're getting up, Tim, and they're exerting so much energy to go do something that their heart is not involved in, their spirit is not involved in, and man, they're just unhappy people. They're just unhappy. Well, an unhappy person is an unconfident person. Does everybody see that? Because I got to get up and go do something. Tim and I love what we do for a living. We would do it for free. We have done it for free. We've spoken for free. We've given away things for free because we love it. We know that the world will reward us at a high level. So it ain't about how much money can we make. It's about how many people can we affect, because we're distributing our talent to the universe through the distribution channel of our work. So many people are in what I call occupations versus vocations. Occupation, that which occupies your time in which you receive a paycheck. You're basically renting your time and energy for money. Okay. I pump gas for a living. I like to when I was 16 and 17, I like to tell people I was the worst gas pumper in America. I was raised by a single mom. She didn't teach me one thing about vehicles, fixing vehicles. One person pulled up and said, will you check will you check the oil? And I'm thinking, oh Lord, I don't even know where the oil is. Okay. And so I pop open the hood. I couldn't even figure out how to it was so embarrassing. I popped open the hood and I reached in there and pulled out this stick and I looked at it and I said, boy, it looks good to me. And he said, well, that was the transmission fluid. And I got fired from pumping gas, guys, because I couldn't check the oil. Now, here's the point. That was an occupation to me. I didn't want to do it. I hated doing it, hated going to it every day. And even a person as positive as old Coach Burt was negative. My confidence was so low. I'm like, man, I'm pumping gas. Like, surely to goodness, I'm supposed to be doing something bigger than this. One way I protect my confidence is through my work. Work gives me meaning. Imagine a world where you couldn't work. Man becomes destructive when he can't work. I believe that. Okay, I believe that. Take away a man's ability to do something, work, I'm telling you, he'll get destructive. Okay, so one thing is vocation. Number 2, I protect my confidence through my relationships. And what I mean by that is rich relationships protect your confidence. I got a good friend I eat breakfast with every Saturday morning. I got a best friend I work out with every morning at 6 a.m. Everybody see that? I have a group of people I really trust and rely on. And I'm telling you, it helps me build my confidence because they believe in me and they affirm and validate me. So 2, I build strong relationships. When I got a good relationship with my daughter, my confidence is high. When I'm spending time with my new son, my confidence is high. When I'm being a good husband to my wife, my confidence is high. When those relationships are screwed up, my confidence is low. Okay? Next thing, rhythm. I protect my confidence with rhythm. Now, I like what TD Jakes says on this. Life happens in a rhythm. Your heart beats in a rhythm. You get out of trouble, you get into trouble, when you get out of a rhythm. Okay? Rhythm is a flow of life. It's like, hey, I get up, I do my thing, I get going. I got a rhythm. When I get out of rhythm, man, is when I get in a lot of trouble and my confidence is shot. Okay? Now, let's think about a couple ways to build this protection of your confidence. And I'm going to give you some commitments that I make. Okay? Number one, I'm committed to my daily schedule. Don't matter how I feel. Amateurs listen to their feelings. Professionals do not listen to their feelings. I am committed to my daily schedule. I don't get up in the morning. This is a big problem with a lot of people's confidence, Tim, is they get up in the morning and they don't feel like working out, so they don't work out. I don't feel like eating healthy, so I go down to McDonald's and get me something I don't need. Now I know, man, I shouldn't eat that, and I should have worked out. Now I roll into work dragging. I'm right. I'm not committed. Okay. I'm committed to prospecting at least 2 hours a day for new money for my business. I'm committed. I call people every day. I try to put deals together every day. I try to grow my business. Okay. I'm committed to working my selling system. I'm committed to going 7 to 15 touches in my follow-up. Right. I'm committed to having great relationships with my clients. I'm committed to weekly dials of studying how the business can be successful. When I do these things, my confidence is high. Now, if you fly an airplane, and I've got a plane, and I asked those pilots once, I went up in the front cockpit and I said, out of these dials up here, I see a lot of dials. What's the most important? And they said, Coach, there's 5 dials. And of all these dials, there's 5 that are real important. And we check those 5 dials throughout the whole flight. And if those 5 dials are working, it's working. And so I thought about that and I said, you know what? I need 5 dials in my business. So at the end of every day, I get 5 dials. And those are how much we sold for the day, how much we collected for the day, where our red zone conversions are for the day. These are key metrics. And here's what it does. It gives me confidence because I know my business is headed in the right direction. If I look at those dials and they're headed in the wrong direction, I'm like, all right, we got some work to do, guys. So these are things I do to build my confidence. Now, I want to stop here. And I want to help you to understand that what I'm told you here is not rocket science. It's not magic. It's literally a commitment to understanding that confidence comes through repetition. It comes through doing. It doesn't come through thinking. Like how a person becomes confident is they try it and they fail and they try it again. And they try it and they fail and they do it again. And they just keep working the muscle until they have a certainty, a high level of certainty. Okay. And now we have a formula. And the formula is, okay, I've lost my confidence. What do I do? Okay. I go through my formula. Not why me? What's this trying to teach me? Number 2, what's my contribution to this? Number 3, I need to get stable. Number 4, I need to get help. Number 5, I need to get busy. I'm checking my 5 dials, guys. Okay. And so what I've done as a coach, and when I wrote the book on confidence, is I've said, man, there's formulas to this. Successful people have formulas. 87% of the wealthiest people in the world get up in the morning and they work out. They don't sleep till noon. They don't drag around. They get up and they get going. Now, artists, entertainers may get creative at night. I'm a creative. I may get going on a book at 10 and go to 2 o'clock in the morning. Okay. That's just who I am. I'm a creative person. But when I'm working at the Greatness Factory and I'm in a rhythm, I go to bed, I get up, I do my thing. Do I feel like it every day? No, I do not. And sometimes I say, right? Sometimes I say, a workout's better than no workout. Bad workout's better than no workout, right? I'm just fighting through it, man. I'm just fighting through it. But I leave there and I'm confident. Now let me close and we'll take questions and let Tim get started. What I'm really doing is I'm living from the principle of private victories precede public victories. The first sale I'm making every day is to Coach Burt. And I'm winning my 4 battles, body, mind, heart, spirit. And I'm building my confidence through the routines and discipline. Discipline is a derivative of the word disciple, which means to give yourself to a person or cause you believe in. So I ask people, do you believe in your future? And if you do, you will become a disciple to that future. If you don't, you will allow other people to control that future. Never place your destiny in another person's hands. Okay? So that's what I got for you guys today. Today was on building confidence. We will get into protection of confidence, diversification of confidence. But if you notice what I'm doing, I'm protecting my confidence by diversifying my confidence. Vocation, relationships, right? Family, friends, hobbies, passions. And what I'm doing is I'm taking my confidence and I'm going, you know what? That bucket ain't going well, but I got 6 buckets going well. As long as these are going well, we're good.
Excellent teaching.
Thank you, sir.
Excellent. Okay, so we're going to give people a chance to ask Coach Burt questions, and just raise your hand, and then he'll take the time and he'll answer, or I'll answer. I want to ask you the first question is that you know that to step into greatness, you have to first have the desire. A lot of this is your kind of teaching. Secondly, you talked about this discipline, okay? But now you have stepped into this delight.
That's right.
So when you are talking about your day, you know, you started with the desire for it. Then you went into the discipline, which you have to maintain. But by watching you and being your real good friend and family member, you have a delight.
Yeah.
And that's what I see in that 1%. The people that really get things done, women and men, they enjoy what they're doing. There's a delight to it.
Right.
Can you tell us about that delight?
Well, when you think about the delight, I think when you truly find your voice in life at the intersection of your talents and your passion and your conscience and a need in the world, you reach a level where it is fun. You're in a flow. You know, you mentioned that lodge. I love coaching at that lodge.
Yeah.
I could coach there for 5 straight days, 20 hours a day. That's how much I love it. And it is a delight to be able to do what you love, where you love, with people you love, right? It's a delight, but it comes through years of discipline. And that's where the confidence comes from, is I have become a disciple to my own future. Okay? Which means I'm willing to put the work in. I'm willing to do what it takes. I'm willing to subordinate what I want today for what I want eventually. And I think that's what we see, what Tim's saying with that 1%. These are people, self-actualizers. These are people operating at the highest frequency. They seem uncommon, right? It's like, man, that dude is operating at a frequency I can't even think about.
Yes.
Up here. Well, how did he get there? Right? I'm going to do a thing with Leonard Wheeler, who's an former NFL player.
Yes.
And I think it's a Hall of Famer, Jack Randall. There's a Hall of Famer from the Vikings, and they called me and wanted to do a theme called Beyond the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And here's what they said I thought was incredible, that there's actually a level beyond the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Isn't that good?
Oh, yeah. So Randall is his last name, and he is a Hall of Famer, and he was a phenomenal defensive player.
Yes. But
I've had lunch with him before.
I thought that concept was incredible. Like you think the Hall of Fame is the peak, but there's actually a level beyond the Hall of Fame. And that's for the super people who want to go to that level. And so I said, man, I'm in. I'm interested. All right, we got a question here from Buffy Creekmore. What was 3 and 4 of building confidence? When you're thinking about building confidence, what I do to build my confidence is I'm going to give you some of my things. Daily prep every night, morning routine, environment I can thrive in. Some of you get up and go to environments you can't thrive in. It beats the confidence out of you, knocks the shout out of you. Daily training.
Yes.
Okay. And a commitment to a system. Those are ways I build my confidence. Imagine preparing for a test, right? When I make this big pitch on Friday and we try to pull this off, of generating $250,000 in an hour. I'm just not going to roll in there on Friday and try it. I'm going to practice. Thursday of this week is completely blocked off for me to do nothing but practice. Practice how I'm going to make the pitch. Practice what flow and rhythm. Practice the cadence I'm going to use. Practice a presentation that I've given 100 times, by the way. I got to practice, because if it's worth $250,000 in an hour, dadgummit, I'm going to be ready.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? I'm going to practice. So to me, that builds confidence. Now, it may or may not work. We don't know. But we know it won't work if I roll in there with a lack of confidence, guys. I got to be at my peak to pull that off. Okay? Tim and I know people that will do an hour and make $5 million in an hour.
Yeah, it's true.
And so that's the concept of how do you play at that level? I call it the blue marlin level versus the blue gill level. So great question, Buffy. All right, Tim, I think we're ready for you to coach us up, big guy.
So I just want to say this, that I think so many things that Coach Burt said are a revelation to us. He's saying things that are just out of this world. To diversify your confidence. Never heard that concept before. And I study nonstop. I mean, I always got stacks of books everywhere. And that was phenomenal today. So that was a revelation to me. But also what he's also giving is confirmation that you are on the right track. And so really build your faith and realize that, hey, it's worth it to wake up. It's worth it to do these things. So for some, today was revelation. Others, confirmation. And for some, okay. So I'm going to take the comeback side. That was confidence, and I'm the comeback.
Yep.
So today I want to talk to you about how to get through a problem. You're going to love this. I want you to write down these 4 things. Number 1, the word promise. A promise. A promise is important because a promise brings hope and expectation. Don't ever forget that. A promise brings hope and expectation. So I was talking to my mother the other day to get this story right. And I said, Mom, I remember the first time you guys took me to Disneyland. And I said, I tell the story that I was about 7. She goes, that's right. And I said, and I tell the story that you guys told us on Wednesday that you were taking us on Saturday. And she goes, that sounds right. And I said, then I tell the story that I was bothering you Wednesday night, Thursday, and Friday. Because Coach Burt, the promise brought hope and expectation. Because as a lower income family, born in a situation we had 7 people in a 2-bedroom apartment to start with in Compton, you know, all I saw of Disney was something on television. And I saw some commercials of this place, Disneyland. So when we thought about going to Disneyland, woo, you talk about a promise. So they said, no, we're going on Saturday. Well, I was bothering them, like I said, Wednesday night. Then Thursday, I said, when are we going to Disneyland? And then Friday, when are we going to Disneyland? Now, it's an interesting thing. I never asked my dad, do you have the money? I never asked my mother, is the car working? But based on their promise that we're going to Disneyland, it built hope and expectation. So I want to challenge you, and Coach Burt told you, and some of you know this, that I am a pastor, is that when you get a promise from God, that it is a rhema word that should build hope and expectation in you. So you got the promise, and then you got the principles. The principles is what we're going through right now, of really what confidence and comebacks really are. So you notice it's not just motivation. We're giving you principles that you could pass on to your children's children. In Psalm 78, it says, tell the next generation about the great things of God. So one thing that Coach Burt and I are doing, and will continue to do up until our 90s and plus, is that we're going to build you all, but we're building you for 3 generations down. This is not just for you. This is for your children's children. So you have a promise, and then you have the principles. All right, so the promise and the principles. I'm here to tell you the third thing will always happen, and that's the problems. So let me break down the word problem. The word problem in the dictionary means a difficulty. Okay, so take your time and write this down. It's a difficulty. Woo, I'm having a difficulty. Welcome to the planet. I'm having an issue. All right? So when you're driving down the road and you see a woman or a man on the side of the road with a flat tire, that is an issue. You could have a Mercedes, you could have a Bentley, or you could have a Prius, or you could have a Nova, or even a Gremlin. But you got yourself an issue because you got a flat tire. So you got the promise, the principles, the problems. So a problem, again, is a difficulty, it's an issue, it's also trouble. Woo! I got some trouble. I couldn't sign up for the comeback campaign because I got trouble. You should show up to the comeback campaign because you have trouble. All right, so you got a problem. A problem is difficulty, an issue, it's trouble, and sometimes it's a mess. And this is something we heard a lot in the 60s and the 70s about things are a mess, or that person is messy, okay? Don't be around those messy people. They're not just talking about mess in their kitchen. They're talking about they're messy. All right, so you got a problem. That's a difficulty. It's an issue. It's trouble. It's a mess. But I like this one. It's also a snag, S-N-A-G. Man, I have had a nice coat on before. And one time I was walking by this chair. I was about to speak at a conference, Coach, and my jacket snagged against the chair and I couldn't move. Well, I had to be careful because I didn't want to rip my nice coat. So I had to go back and fix the dilemma because I had a snag. Some of you have a promise, you have the principles, but you got a snag. You are about to do something big, watch, and something is snagging you. Mm. And so Coach and I are going to help you get released.
That's right.
How powerful is that?
Good.
So good. Problem is a difficulty, an issue, a trouble, a mess, it's a snag. And lastly, on problem, it's a hurdle. Mm. So I was doing my research, you had the great person who hurdled in the Olympics, Edwin Moses, okay? And so I was studying a little bit for this today. I was studying this yesterday about one of the things about Edwin Moses is his stride was so good. His stride was so good.
Yep.
And he did the high hurdles, yep, which is bigger than the low hurdles. So Coach Burt and I are going to help you not just to be a low hurdler. Mm. See, a lot of your family members are tripping over the low hurdles. They're like, I got difficulty, watch. I got an issue. My feelings are out of whack. So we're not trying to make you low hurdlers, people.
Right.
We are going to make you masters of the high hurdle.
That's good.
Where you see a dilemma and you think, I could take that too.
Yes.
Because I've got the promise.
Good.
I got the principles. So Coach was just infusing us with principles. And that's one reason I'm so excited about us as a team. And you watch where this team goes. We're going to go all over the world. I was talking to a man that does extremely well from London today that I'll tell you later who it is. Mm-hmm. And he was saying, man, I love you and Coach Burt together. What a tag team. Because we're teaching principles, yep, okay? Principles that will get you through the problems, okay? And into the prosperity. Ooh. So you have the promise, the principles, the problems, good, the prosperity. So I'm telling you right now, if you do what we're saying, you will step into areas of prosperity. Now, part of it is because you have diversified. So you're going to prosper spiritually if you listen to what we're saying. You're going to prosper mentally if you hear what we're saying. You're going to prosper financially if you hear what we're saying. Your family can get back on track if you hear what we're saying. And so you have the promise, you have the principles, you have the problems, but then you have the prosperity. Now, so I'm going to help you how to get through these problems. Now, one of the big things that happens with people with a problem is the word frustration. I want you to write this down. Frustration. So the word frustration, or to be frustrated, means a feeling of annoyance. This is annoying me. Ooh, this heat is annoying me. Hello, it's July. Then they're going to do August, and it's going to be even hotter. All right. So frustration is annoyance. I am annoyed. I am now annoyed. All right. Somebody lift your hands if you know somebody that is like that. They're always annoyed. And I'm sure, Coach, you had at least one relative like that. That was always annoyed.
Yes.
All right. So frustration is annoyance. It's also irritation. Ooh, I'm irritated. This is so irritating, and this is irritating me, and this is irritating me. So what's happening is that you're caught in that problem stage and you are frustrated. So frustration is annoyance, irritation. It's also aggravation. Okay? So when you have a problem, guess what? You might get aggravated. So what we're telling you right now, your problems may aggravate you. Your boss may aggravate you. Your kids may aggravate you. You may aggravate yourself. Okay? Now, a problem is also when something is overwhelming you and it seems very difficult to solve. Difficult to solve. Okay? So we talked about this, that you have this promise, then you have the principles, now you have the problems. But in order to get into the prosperity, we have to work through the problems. Now, I said work through. I didn't say it's always zip through. You got to work through. Now, watch how powerful this is. So when I was 8 years of age, Coach, there was a kid in my neighborhood that was quite a few years older than me. And he was good at baseball, basketball, and football. And he saw me throwing the baseball. And so he saw me, he was riding his bike, David Gonzalez, and he stopped. He said, "What's your name? I see you out here." I said, Timmy Storey. He goes, "Man, you learned to throw that ball well." He says, "Who taught you how to throw it?" I said, "I watch on TV." He goes, you want me to get my glove and I'll play catch with you?" Well, this kid was phenomenal. He was a phenom. So I was a young guy, and he was out there teaching me baseball and teaching me how to throw it behind my ear and, help me in that sport. But he also was a great basketball player. So he taught me how to really shoot the ball well. Well, one day we were out there playing basketball. I was 8 years of age, and I got a knot in my Converse high tops. Now, Coach, do you remember the Converse high tops? Just like your hand. Okay. All right. So I had a knot in my Converse, and I got frustrated. I got annoyed, irritated, and aggravated, and overwhelmed. And I tried to pull that knot out, and the more I tried to pull it, it got tighter. And then I thought, oh man, now my shoelace is so tight. I said to the guys, I said, "I need to go home." and so walking home, I said, "Well, let me sit on the curb and try to get this knot out." So, Coach, I'm trying to get this knot out. It's getting worse. So now I try to take my shoe off. I can't, because the knot is so tight. I can't get my Converse high top off. True story. So I go to my mother and I said, "Mom," I said, "look at this situation." I said, "I got a knot, and then I try to untie it, and now I can't get my shoe off. So I'm all flustered." And she goes, "Don't worry about it. Just sit down." Very calm. So she went and got a sewing kit. This is so great. Okay. And she went and she got the sewing kit, she put it on the table, and she took out a needle, and she said, put your foot up here in the chair. She put it up, and she slowly started to pull the knot out.
Yep.
And she did it with 3 steps. So I'm gonna give you 3 steps of how to untie a knot in your life.
Good.
So number 1, I noticed that my mama was very patient. Yeah. So number 1, when you're going through a problem or you have a knot in your life, you have to be patient. Good. So a knot, as I'm talking about, is K-N-O-T. It's not a knot. But a lot of you are having knots in your life, N-O-Ts, okay? The job's not working. The diet's not working. Yep. The situation's not working. You feel like things are not working, and because of your frustration, annoyance, irritation, aggravation, you have tied now your knots even tighter. So your N-O-T became a K-N-O-T, and now you're all tied up in knots.
Good.
Okay, so number 1, my mama was patient. So I'll never forget, she was patiently, just like a surgeon, just patiently. And I was just sitting there, Coach, with my Converse. I was just almost enjoying this process. But as she was working, I noticed that I started to get calm.
Yeah.
See, when I try to do it by myself, I was flustered.
Yep.
That's why it's so important that you listen. I mean, we've come into your life as coaches with a lot of experience to say, hey, let us help you get the knots out.
That's right.
So my mother was patient. Number 2, she had a technique because she knew exactly what she was doing. She didn't go there like it was her first knot, because there were 4 children before me. I'm the youngest of 5. That was not her first knot. So number 1, she was patient. Number 2, she had a technique. And so you can learn techniques, principles, and patterns to get the knots out of your life.
Yeah, that's good.
So no matter what the difficulty is, you could face that difficulty and say, somehow, some way, I'm going to untie this knot. I just need to be patient. I need a technique. And the third thing she had is she had experience. So the patience, the technique, and the experience. Now, here's what I want to say to you. I think a lot of you have more experience than you are giving yourself credit for.
Yep.
And many times when you reach these levels of frustration, you forget that you work jobs you didn't like. You're around people that maybe betrayed you. You've been through a lot of different difficulties in your life. Now, so how do I minimize frustration in my life, Tim Storey? How do I minimize frustration? I'm going to help you, because you gotta minimize it. Here's what you got to do first, is you have to maximize your mindset. Okay? And I like this quote. It's by Albert Einstein, the great Albert Einstein. He's talking about maximizing your mindset. He says, when you can solve your problems with the same thinking that you use to create them, you've got problems.
Yep.
He says you must maximize your way of thinking. So you have to maximize your mindset. And so that's one reason I am constantly reading, Coach.
Yep.
That's one reason you are in podcasts, sermons, because I want to maximize my mindset. So when I face those knots, I have maximized my mindset.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking different about the problem.
Mm.
The second way to ease your frustration is almost going to shock you. Sometimes you need to minimize your expectation. Okay, watch how powerful this is. And I write in my notes, not everything gets solved in a 1-hour episode like on television.
Ooh, that's good.
See, so we're so used to watching Netflix now, and you're watching something, or you're watching CSI, or a lot of you like these Dateline shows to find out the mystery of who killed who. Okay. You watch the Dateline, and they'll have those people, and they'll say, but then they called his friend Burt, and you go, oh, it was Burt. But then they found out it was not Burt, it could have been Barbara. And you're like, is it Burt, or is it Barbara? But you're thinking, okay, how many more minutes until it's 60 minutes?
Yeah.
12 minutes left. We're going to find out if it's Burt or Barbara. Okay, so we're going to solve it in a 1-hour episode. So, right, not every dilemma and problem is solved in a 1-hour episode. Sometimes it's not solved until you get through the whole mini series. Ooh, this is so good.
Good.
Some of you are trying to solve a problem in 1 week that cost you, it took you maybe 10 years to get the dilemma, and you're trying to solve it too quickly. Minimize your expectation. When I'm life coaching people, all the time I say to them, don't always just try to get here. I just want to get you better. This week, let's get better. Next week, let's get better. The week after, let's get better. The week after that, you get better, 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 best. Okay? So sometimes you need to minimize your expectation. Now, I'm going to leave this, okay, because we like to end on time. The writer of the book Harry Potter, you know that story, most of you, that she was turned down by over 15 publishing houses, okay? But she said that I kept the right mindset because I knew that what I had created was valuable somewhere. I'm here to tell you, you are valuable somewhere. Keep the right mindset because somebody is going to see your value. Your mindset is where your mind is set, where it's fixed, where it is solidified. And you got to have that healthy mindset. Okay? All right, so last thing, real quick, I talked about the knot in my Converse. I talked about my mother. She was patient, she had a technique, and she was experienced. If you have knots in your life, please just take some time this week. Be patient, okay?
Yep.
Have the right techniques, and don't forget your experience. Coach, how much did you love that high top basketball story?
Well, I loved it. And what's so good about this, guys, is when I study personality profiles, right? Like I'm certified in the DISC profile. I'm a high D and a high I, which means I'm a dynamo. I'm driven, but I'm also social. But one of the characteristics of some of you on here, when you study that, of a high D is frustration, anger. Anger is actually a characteristic of a high D. They're not mad at other people. They're mad. They're frustrated all the time.
Yes.
Right. And even as you were coaching through that, I love the part about we look at things like this is a big problem. This is a problem. This is aggravation. But we want to solve it in a 30-minute meeting.
Yes.
Versus let it, like I'm thinking about the guy who came to me today who literally was white as a ghost, scared to death. I'm running out of money. I've mortgaged my house. It ain't working.
Yes.
Like I need you to solve this for me, Coach, right now. Like in this meeting, in this 7-minute,
right?
Right? Yes. And I'm thinking, but so what I was thinking about is, you use the Einstein quote, right? The significant problems we face cannot be solved at the same level of thinking we were at when we created the problem.
100%.
And so when you had that knot, you're all tied up. And I see so many people that are all tied up and they're all in that knot. And it's like, hey, we need to step back. We need to get a grip.
Oh yeah.
We need to be patient. We need to look at this technique, right? And we need to look at our experiences.
Yes.
And I think when you, even some things I'm working through right now, because I got my hands in a lot of things, as you know.
Yes, you do. I'm glad you're laughing about this.
Yeah, I'm laughing about it because I'm adding things, I'm adding
Yes.
things and I'm adding things and
Yeah.
they don't all work out the way they're supposed to.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm taking on big projects,
Oh yeah,
big dreams. And, it's frustrating. So I was listening to you and I was thinking, just by thinking through that just calms you. It's like, hey, okay, just step back, work it out. And I think when you're trying to come back, I'm thinking of a woman that was in our program. Her husband just passed away in March of this year.
Yes.
And she signed up for my coaching summit, but she kind of got cold feet and said, I did this the wrong time. And I said, I really believe you need to go through the confidence and come back with Tim's story now.
Yes.
And she's, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not ready. I'm not ready for it. I'm not interested in it. And I'm sitting there thinking, I understand you've lost something. You're right. You're going through transition in life, but I really think this will help you stay in a forward posture. It'll give you some tools in your tool bag to help you fight through this adversity. Tim's coached people through transition. I've coached people through transition, and she just wouldn't have it. I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I'm not listening. I'm not interested. I don't want it.
Yes.
And I'm thinking, man, it would be so helpful to you though. Like, this is what you need. Like, this is what he does. This is who you need. And so I think for all the people watching this, some of you need confidence, and some of you need to come back.
Yes.
And some of you need to hear, like, hey, it ain't going to work itself out in a day. It ain't going to work itself out like it's the whole series, right? It's not the 1 hour deal. And I think that was incredibly valuable. Just to hear it calms you, makes you step back and go, okay.
I love it.
Spent 10 years getting in this mess. We're not going to spend 1 hour getting out of it.
Yes. I'm loving what's happening here. I really do. And I feel like all of you that signed up and you that are not watching live, but you're watching later, you signed up for the program, that what's happening is that this is being instilled in you.
Yeah.
And you're going to be able to draw on this investment.
Absolutely.
It's going to be life-changing to your children's children, as we've been saying.
Yeah. And I think, you step back, you get one concept. Last week, the concept for me was Hitsville. We got standards. We don't produce B-side records, right? This week is, hey, step back. There's a technique, right?
Yes.
And we're going to step back and we're not going to solve this problem. Just be patient as we work through it.
Yes.
Okay, good. Tasha Clark said, confidence comes through repetition. I really must be consistent with my morning routine. I do believe that will help me. Absolutely. Listen, you see people do it at the highest levels. They've been doing it for years.
Yes.
They make it look easy.
Coach, thank you for being you. I mean that with all my heart, and to keeping your energy level high.
Yep. The
way you're doing. And I just want to say that it's great to see your wife next to you, your children with you. And it's a really great example for what's needed in the world today. I was just going to say America, but no, the world needs it.
Yep.
And the world needs a coach. So it is a privilege to flow with you on this platform.
Thank you, guys. Great session. I know 2 of you reached out to me. I will get a response to you. I want to see if you want to ask your question live, but I will get a response to you via email. Thank you. We appreciate you. We'll see you back next week on Confidence and Comebacks.
Thank you.
Thank you.